Hello, fiends, friends, and familiars. It is your good pal, Matt Orozco from Macabre Daily, and I'm joined with always my buddy,
Lowell Greenblatt. How's
Lowell
it going?
Greenblatt. We are joined by two other amazing folks today from the Sinful Cuts podcast. We have Shannon Bushman and we have Sean O'Connor. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Um,
I love the theme
hey,
music.
yeah, it's on the fly, one of one. Hope someone's recording this. Yep, we are. Great. So we can use it, replicate it, trademark it, make money, capitalism. Great. So, Shannon, Sean, how are you doing? How's things?
Things
Good.
are good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spooky season's chugging along nicely.
Yeah, I've already been to Salem.
I
Uh,
know, I
Well,
saw
I
the
can't believe you went
pictures.
to Salem in October. I went for the first time over the summer and it was great, but just hearing about the stuff that happens in October, it's like it's parking lots are like $40 a day. Is that right?
so that's only on Saturday.
Oh,
If you go, so we did like a Thursday to Sunday type of deal. So I mean, obviously Thursday night, by the time we got there, like it was a go and just, we enjoyed whatever was left open. Friday night was probably the best day. We made a point to get up early. We got to the parking garage by like 9:30, and that's like $12 for the day.
not
Um,
bad.
but yeah, but then we did the same thing on Saturday and Saturday just because it's yeah, that's when everybody can come out. Yeah, that's like 50 a day.
So Salem
Yeah.
is like Cabo for goths, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
which is yeah, pretty much.
No wet
Just to let
t-shirts
you,
contests, like dark t-shirt contests. It's like whose shirt is so dark that you can see in the void.
Yeah. Except those contests I think are all ran by the transgenders, because we did do a burlesque show and apparently they do a lot of drag there,
I
apparently.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Very LGBTQ friendly.
I
Yeah.
Everyone.
love it.
everyone's walking around Salem going, "No, my high school experience was worse. No, mine was."
So it's just like a spooky province town then. Like it's
Yeah.
spooky P town. All right. Great. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's a good time.
I just
I've
want to let you
always
both know that Shannon does everything fun on the podcast. So she spent a week riding roller coasters at Busch Gardens. She went skydiving.
Dreams.
She
Yeah.
she went to Salem, and then people ask me, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I got a root canal, and then I lost my car keys." Yeah, so,
So it's a pretty good little Saturday so far.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad that Shannon is spooking it up for all of us because I have been Cleveland bound. Sean, what have you been doing? I mean, you say nothing, but I know that's not true. I know you got a copious collection of candy corn you're cultivating during this very fine month. The mallow creams, right? The pumpkin-sized fuckers.
that
You
sounds
want to get
ominous.
yeah.
Yeah, I've slowly been working my way toward type 2 diabetes since October 1st. It's coming along great. But I mean, movies. As far as the fun stuff, I leave that to the dangerous stuff. I leave that to Shannon. But yeah, I've just been dining out on a lot of old stuff and new stuff. I'm having a blast.
Awesome. Lowell, I know I'm gonna ask how you're doing, but I feel like I know because we've been I don't want to say commiserating, but more just like mini therapy sessions of like, are you okay? Yes, okay, good. You're keeping well? Yes. October is great.
Yeah.
Smile. Smile
It's
for
like
the cameras.
it's like if horror is your drug, October is like Rumspringa. You
And
know,
Amsterdam.
you're yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I'm good. I'm good, but I'm so tired. I'm so very tired in the best way. But in November, I'm just going to sleep. But, like they say in 30 Rock, real life is for March, sleep is for November. I went
Ah,
to New York Comic Con, which was a lot of fun. Didn't have interviews lined up this time, but I still got to meet some really cool people. And now I'm on to the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival, which is running through Thursday. I saw two films last night. I'm seeing two films tomorrow with trivia in the middle. And then I'm seeing a film on Thursday. And renovations on my bathroom are going to start Thursday morning. So timed
you
it
should do your
perfectly.
taxes for next year now. Like just might
Yeah,
as well just like bring all
Yeah.
this other stuff in there.
yeah. Just stuff them in an envelope and just like toss them at the post office as I drive by.
Come and
But
get me, feds.
yeah,
Wrong, who's gonna check it?
there's no return address, suckers. Um, but yeah, It's cool. I'm cool. Words are words, and yeah, it's you know what? October is happening exactly as it should, except the first time I got COVID a few weeks ago. But it's fine. It's done. I'm good. My wife's good.
That's
You're
good.
the picture of health. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm slightly the blob, just like a melting Bill Lustig. Who was there? I think he was there last night at the Brooklyn Horror Film Fest, and he screened Maniac last year too. He's a mainstay. But
Oh,
yeah,
love
good,
to talk to Bill. I have
good
so many
time.
questions.
Right?
I don't even know if I want the answers. Just I just want to ask them.
Just ask. Yeah.
Quickly walk away.
Yeah, and just be like, just think about them. You don't have to get back to me now or ever, but I would love that if you did. So, yeah, I think it's like a blessing that we have. October's become such a, I don't know, pandemonium, if you will. But
Good.
at the same time, it is exhausting. And one of the things that Lowell and I decided to start doing with our monthlies was the thing's so nice, we decided to do it twice. And so for our second monthly episode, instead of talking about a top five, we decided let's talk with our good friends at Sinful Cuts about what Halloween traditions you got going on. All kinds of Halloween stuff because it is October. So there is a Halloween holiday coming up. Have a little chat conversation about it. What do y'all think?
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
this.
Splendid. Well, as the world may know at this point, we are all contributors of Macabre Daily. So this is we also will be including responses from one of our other contributors, co-contributors, if you will, Christopher, who sent in his answers via Pigeon. So Carrot Pigeon arrived today. Perfect Health from Utah. Um,
Hey,
Not sure if it's a pigeon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a pigeon. It might be a robin, but I'm colorblind, so we can't say we can never say.
It's not a three-eyed raven.
No. And if that's innuendo, I don't know what that is. So
Oh.
I hope to look it up on Urban Dictionary later and be appalled and or surprised.
You'll be neither.
Oh, okay. Probably, considering the depths of my depravity, it takes a lot more than words to get under these thick skins. Anyways, kicking things off with our first question, do you remember when you realized that Halloween was your holiday?
I think
man.
so.
When was yours, Shannon? Like, what
I
was
think
like
so.
the moment? Almost like kind of the moment where you realized like, oh, I think I like men, women, or gophers, right? Like sometimes all
Or all
three.
three.
Yeah.
So weird. I have such a similar story. No, it's I want to say I had to be about maybe 9, maybe 10 years old, and I wanted to be Wednesday Addams. I grew up watching the black and white show. I believe the movie, at least the first movie, came out by then. So I'm pretty sure if not both of them, I want to say maybe just the first one at the time, but either way. Um, and I just remember, I told my mom that I wanted to be Wednesday Addams, and I remember my mom, and this isn't the first or the last time she did this for me, but for some reason I just really remembered it because I think this was like my favorite costume when I was a kid, and it was simple, maybe because it was comfortable. My mom went all out for me. She did the hair with my braids
Oh.
and got the perfect dress and made sure I had the right shoes and things like that. And I remember, people mostly carry around like, pillowcases or bags or something like that. And I just had like a basket, which I
The
loved.
pumpkin pail,
And
the
yeah, kind of
standard
like
pumpkin pail.
instead of a pumpkin pail, because I remember I was visiting family that at the time they lived in Maryland. So we were actually in Maryland at the time. So we weren't even home.
So it was crab
It
shaped.
was like it was all new houses, all new kids. I didn't know that I had the pleasure of scaring. I really knew I didn't. I remember like not caring if they were scared of me or not. I actually took pleasure in it as a 9-year-old. And then the last touch for my costume, I remember saying to my mom, like, "Mom, Wednesday Addams has a headless doll. Like, I need a headless doll." My mom goes, "You're right," and takes a Barbie doll and rips the head off. And I carried around the headless Barbie doll in my basket. And I said, "Give me candy now." Um, and it was
Good
just
parenting. That is a good example of good parenting.
Right?
I
And
know.
problem solving.
And as I got older, they were like, "Why are you so weird?" I'm like, "This is your fault." But no, but I remember
Fucking
like
Marie Antoinette is my mother over here. What the hell?
so, but no, I just remember like that was probably like one of my like the most fun Halloweens ever. And again, like I'm an only child, so I didn't have siblings to share this with. It was really just my mom, my aunt, and my cousins. My cousins were babies at the time though, so I feel like it was really just me. But I remember like I don't know, it was that to me it was still like a family moment. Me walking around and just getting my candy and my little costume that was comfortable. And yeah, and I loved it. And again, some kids were scared of me, and I was like, yes.
Found my
Some
fit.
kids still are.
It's a part of getting older. It's a cycle. It's like there's a point in your life where you're not scary, but then you become scary again. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Sean, Lowell, do either of you have like a pinpoint moment in time where you're like, yep, this is when I got my first hollow erection?
Not really. It just kind of happened. Fall, candy, scary stuff, just sort of all at once. It's like, oof. Now I
Wait,
like
there's a
Halloween.
holiday about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Everyone's
is every
celebrating this.
year. This is awesome. Yeah.
Does Uncle Ben know about this? All right. Well, Sean, did you have a moment where you were just like, this is I
I
found my
definitely had a
place.
moment. I want to circle back to Shannon though. She opened up her basket and it was just full of Old Bay seasoning from Maryland. She's like, this state sucks at Halloween.
Like, son of a bitch.
What am I
My
supposed to do with this soft shell crab? Is it cooked? Do I eat the shell? What the fuck is this thing?
I don't know, my parents probably
Holding out your bag, red tops, got them done.
Oh, sorry, Maryland. We love you, but no, no.
yeah. But, yeah.
I can remember going to this store called Newberry's, and they had during Halloween they had the aisle of all the Ben Cooper costumes. So it'd come in like that like square cake box with the cellophane on top. So you just like press down on the cellophane, and I can still hear it like it was yesterday. And I was just obsessed with all those costumes. I mean, I love the fringe benefit of getting lots of candy. Don't get
Right.
me wrong, but it was always about the aspect of being something scary or something cool. And now I look back on it. I mean, I love those Ben Cooper and those Don Post masks, but those Ben Cooper costumes were just basically like a walking advertisement because you had the mask and the elastic would break in a nanosecond. So you're just holding the mask the whole time and you were wearing essentially a billboard for like Star Wars or Planet of the Apes, and I don't know. I kind of love that.
This is
But
my
that's my
costume.
yeah, exactly. Like coming soon to a theater near you. But I just
Valvoline
love
oil, high performance. You're like, yes.
it was it was early NASCAR. That's
Yeah,
what it was.
pretty much.
It
It sounds
was
like it.
it was sponsorship. But anything, any occasion where I could dress up and then to find out that there's a holiday that is all about dressing up, I was hooked. I was just hooked from the beginning. And then
Yeah.
then when you layer in some candy and scares on top of it, it's irresistible.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it really is like the Christmas for the spooky kids.
Yeah.
And Christopher says that he was young, like we all were, at one point, I believe. No one's just kind of birthed into this world fully grown. So, and if you are, I want to talk to you. So hit us in the DMs.
We'll
Um,
interview you.
yeah, I have so many questions and I want those answers. He said, even when I dressed like a hobo at 5, we're going to go with the unhoused person term here. But, and my mother gave me an empty beer bottle wrapped in a paper bag as a prop. Bad parenting, but I still loved Halloween. I disagree. Great parenting.
Right?
Um, it would have been bad parenting if the bottle broke and you killed a kid. Then
Well,
that's
yeah.
then there's some culpability. So I don't think I can remember the pinpointing a time because my 20s were filled in a pretty psychedelic haze. So I think a lot of those early kind of pivotal memories are now just kind of figments of my imagination. But I think because I remember Halloween was the first horror movie I ever saw, so I believe it probably had something to do with that. And if it didn't, it's a great story for now. So yeah, it's a hard thing to go back to once you get to a certain age. I'd be curious to know folks that have children, if they can remember that moment if this is their holiday or not. But in the spirit of those memories, do you have a favorite one? Is there a particular Halloween that stands out to any of you, whether it's for good, bad, or anything in between?
I've got two. I'll
Oh,
make it quick.
You can take
Sha-
mine. I don't really have one, but go ahead.
Sha-
I think I have
Sha-
one.
Shannon's heard the story because when we were talking to the boys from London, I told them this story. All right, so I'll make it quick. Two Halloweens. The first one, I'm 12 years old, and I have to change the name to protect the innocent. So we'll call him Danny. So it was sixth grade, and the elementary school has the Halloween party, and it's kind of come and go as you please, and they set up games, and they had a gigantic table, long table full of make your own sundaes, and it was unsupervised. So you could go up and you can have as many as you wanted. So Danny, who was a latchkey kid, and his mom was a nurse, so he kind of, he was off the clock. Like he had no supervision whatsoever at the party or at home, and he had what turned out to be 13 Sundays. So we found this out
God bless
years
him.
later. Years later, we're all at a bar drinking, and he goes, I never told you guys what happened to me that Halloween night. He went home, and the second he closed the door, he immediately shit his pants. So, being 12 and not wanting to get caught, he took his pants and his underwear and he threw them in what he thought was the washer machine. And he turned it on and then cleaned up and went to bed. And it turned out he put him in the dryer. So his mom came home hours later to a smell of burnt shit throughout the entire house. She had to get a new dryer. You just can't get baked on shit out of a dryer.
Oh, God. That's going to haunt him forever.
I can taste it.
Right?
I can taste
And
that smell.
We're like, how the hell did you fall asleep? And he's like, I basically went into like a sugar coma. Nothing was going to wake me up. That's one memory. And this is, right hand to God, this story is
But keep going.
I should have led with this story because you can't top the big shit story. But this is a true story. I got into an egg fight. This is probably a couple of years later. I got into an egg fight, and me and Frank Pastor threw eggs at each other from probably about 50 feet away, and they hit in midair. And it immediately stopped the egg fight because everybody was like, what just happened? Like,
Everyone got on their knees and just gave you fealty. They're just like, our kings.
Well, it was truly a moment of like, is this going to reverse gravity? Is this like how a time machine works? And then the two groups of idiot kids just went their separate ways because how do you beat hitting eggs in midair?
Chuck Norris probably had to fart when that happened. He's like, oh, there's a disturbance in the masculine force out there. Two projectiles have collided midair. Those are amazing.
The sign.
And this is why I love Halloween.
Yeah, Lisan Al Gaib right there. You both could have been the king of Arrakis. So we will never know because you're both spice addicts. So, Shannon, do you have like a memory that you're just like, this was the Halloween of all Halloweens?
Let me see. Well, I have not necessarily to that level. So I have one. I mean, no. Because I have one that I don't know if I want to tell on here because it kind of involves me being a delinquent.
Tell it.
All about. Come on.
And
we'll just use your pseudonym.
That's the question.
Yeah, there you go. It wasn't me.
Just call yourself Danny.
It was yeah, some girl I know named Danny actually did this, not me. But driving around with friends, we I don't know if it was on Halloween. It might have been like right, but either way, it was definitely the season because what we decided to do with our time pre going to bar era, I guess, where we're driving around and we decided to steal Halloween decorations off of the lawns of the neighborhood.
As you do.
As one does.
As we do. And we got to the point where we did get into a little bit of a car chase. We lost the guy though, or whatever. Like we knew the neighborhood better than he did. Either that or he saw that we were fucking like little delinquents. He's like, whatever, I can deal without that scarecrow, I guess.
Wait a minute, I've been drinking all night. What the fuck am I doing?
Maybe that too.
I'm a responsible person. Probably saved lives that night. We'll never know.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah,
Wait, did you
We got like a giant scarecrow on a stake. We got like a bunch of skeletons, a bunch of other random things that we just stole, so we got the car filled with stuff. And we decided to go to the high school and decorated the football field.
Yep.
Well, now you're doing community service, so it's like you got caught anyway.
Logical next step, really. You've got to put it somewhere.
We kind of gave, yeah. So we literally decorated somewhere else.
You just relocated. So you didn't really steal anything. You just relocated it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
That's fair. I don't think that's a crime. I think you're good.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's a courtesy, actually. I think you actually get reward money for that. So,
did you guys grow up with Mischief Night? Because on Long Island we had Mischief Night. Did you guys have that?
No, it was just Halloween. Actually, I do have a quick story. You go first, but yeah, then I know the night before Halloween in a lot of places is Mischief Night or Devil's Night. But where I was from, we just saved it all for regular ass Halloween.
I was in the desert, so
well, I brought this up. Yeah, I brought this up in college, and people looked at me like I was insane. They're like, "That's not a thing. You're making this up." Well, one night someone stole my fucking Halloween decorations, and it made me so crazy.
So I chased them. Wait a minute.
And her name was Danny.
Lowell, you had a light bulb moment, or rather, should I say, a spooky orange light bulb moment.
Yeah, well, this happened to friends of mine, and really friends of mine, because I can't even remember the last name of the teacher that this happened to, but there was a math teacher in my high school that everyone hated. I never
Mr.
had
Danny.
Mr. Danny. I never had him, and I was lucky, I guess, but like he was one of those teachers who lived near the school. Like, I don't know if you grew up with teachers in school who like lived elsewhere and commuted to the school, but he was like in the neighborhood. And without fail, every Halloween his house was target number one. And it wasn't like we were like a community full of vandals. It was just like, oh, it's Halloween, let's go to Mr. Porter's house. And like, it's just a name I made up, but I know I'm going to remember it as soon as we log off. And there was one year, some kids I knew drove by and stopped in front of his house and shot paintballs at it. Oh. And then he came out to yell at them, and then he got shot with paintballs.
That's called the drive-by law. That's called the drive-by.
Oh, no. And then his wife came out to see what the commotion was, and she got paintballs.
This is turning into a massacre.
It's kind of on him for living by the school. I mean,
and then their grandchildren came out, and they all got shot right in the headshots too.
I mean, if you're gonna be an asshole teacher, live near the school. But yeah, I just remember hearing the story the next day, and I mean, everyone knew who did it, but he could never prove it. But it was just like, then his wife came out. It was great. Good time.
Oh, that's so messed up.
But yeah, I don't know if I have. This is a vague memory, only because it was a vague time. But I was in high school, and I did not I had a very stunted social growth, let's just call it. Like, I did not have friends for a very long time. And then all of a sudden something changed. And like when that started to happen, I remember getting like hijacked on Halloween one night because I was just at home, my first Halloween, like with friends. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go home. I'm home early. And someone calls like, hey, you're coming out. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I am. So I just kind of, did my sneak out thing because no one was suspecting me to leave because like, where's Matt gonna go, right? So I just was pretty easy sneak out. And I got taken to an apartment complex that my sister would later live at when she went to college that used to be called Star Pass. I think it's called something different now, all in Tucson, Arizona. And I was, I think, a junior in high school, taken to a Halloween party with a bunch of college kids, definitely out of my age range. I did an ice luge for the first time ever.
There he is.
And I had the most amazing night. I can barely remember. There was like half naked women pouring the shots too. And as like a junior in high school, I'm like, what is happening? Like, what? Like this, I'm pretty sure this is the point. I'm like, I'm definitely going to college, but I don't know why. I just like whatever this is. It's like, it reminded me of a time when I was in camp many, many younger years ago, and I got accidentally bumped up to like the older kids group one year when I shouldn't have been. And I had the most amazing summer I have ever had and will ever have. But it's like when you get invited to that older crowd party when when you're just a little young, I don't know any better. That is an impressionable moment.
Oh,
Um,
hell
and I'm
yeah.
proud to say I now take high school kids as a charity to their, no, I'm just kidding. Every
Statue
Halloween.
of limitation.
Never experienced.
But yeah, I remember like doing an ice luge, like what, like you, first of all, being impressed that this is a thing. Like you can drink liquid out of this slide, like a slide that goes into my mouth, and that makes the poison, like the really burning liquid, cool.
Oh, hell
Oh,
yeah.
But the thing about an ice luge is, at least in in New York State, is that you already have the ice luge, so you don't need good alcohol with it.
true.
Like you can like your friends are so excited to drink off it, and then they're pouring down like Goldschlager, and you're like, yeah, oh god, but yeah, I did the ice luge. It's just an excuse to get rid of terrible alcohol, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
There was a bar in New York City back in the 90s actually called Ski Bar, where the whole concept was double ice luge. And think about it. Think about all of everyone who just wants to just get after it, putting their mouth in the same place.
I was gonna
It's
say, I don't think they
insane.
survived COVID. I don't think that
The
store
rest-
survived COVID. Pretty sure.
No,
I mean,
no.
like that should have been patient zero right there. That the bottom of that ice luge should have been the beginning of some sort of pandemic right there.
It probably was.
And it was definitely the ice shaped like a penis for sure.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee there were a lot of children
Or what
born
are we
because of
doing?
that bar. I
Yeah, are there
guarantee
any
that.
other like phallic shaped ice luges or bust? Am I right? So we have another response from Christopher here. He says, my favorite memory was dressing up like the headless horseman in third grade, using an actual pumpkin to wear on my head and getting extra candy for the effort. That is so wholesome. I feel like we should have led with that because now everyone's like, wow, so we have a bunch of degenerate thieves and shit dryers. Um, so yeah, Christopher, thanks for pulling us out of the deep.
Yeah,
Christopher was like,
Yeah.
when my UNICEF jug would get too heavy, I had a backup.
Yeah, it's like, and he's like, I took the candy. I gave the candy back and took the apples. It's like, so Christopher, we're gonna have to pry you, Christopher, when we do our next staff meeting to figure out if you have any debaucherous Halloween stories, because that was so genuinely delightful. So let's see here. Next one is what? Yeah, see, you get the hard hands. That's big. Are there any traditions that you all participate in throughout the month that are unique to this month? Whether there are things that you do like that are group activities or things you just do at home with yourselves, your partners, your friends, your pets, invisible friends.
laughing.
I just heard things you do at home with yourself, and I'm 5 years old,
Yeah.
so I just started laughing.
I mean, listen, if you have a spooky masturbation ritual, this is a no shame zone. So
what I do is I put Christopher's headless horseman costume.
you dye the Jergens orange. You're like, this is.
I mean, you got to be ready for No Nut November.
Oh
Yeah, you should clear the seeds out, I guess, of that pumpkin before you go into the dry season. So
Oh my god.
all the euphemisms we can.
It's like a very
John, you
dark-
pulled a
Oh my
ripcord
God.
that I think you'll regret. That's
Yeah.
like a chainsaw of nastiness. So aside from some weird kinks that we're starting to learn about each other.
Oh my god! All right. I'm gonna put it back on track. I have one and one only, and that is every October. Myself and Roy, podcast sweetheart, we find Halloween 3 playing on the big screen somewhere, and we see it every single year. But I got to tell you, this year is looking dicey. I cannot find it anywhere. And what do we have left?
Yeah,
Less than we got a little more than a week.
10 days.
You can find the
No,
original
nuts.
playing on the big screen, but I don't know about the.
Well,
We
you're
have
right.
9
The
days to
original
find-
I've got, but I gotta.
This is like a comedy, like a road trip comedy waiting to happen, like a Harold and Kumar situation where it's like Sean and Roy find Halloween 3, and it's just you two traversing the United States in 9 days left to Halloween. This could be a documentary. I'm not going to film it.
No. You have cameos of people from the Halloween series as people along the way, like Danielle
Yes.
Harris is like a surly like meter maid, like
Ooh, I like that.
yeah. Well, yeah, they
Tom
got
Atkins keeps quoting the wrong movie. He's like, "Thrill me." It's like, no, Tom.
No, no.
Halloween
But
3.
I will say this though, at the end of the movie, you know what we find? Each other. It was
It's
really
true.
just about
It's really not about the masks that melt children. It's about the friends you make along the way.
there you go.
there it is.
So
There it
that's the only thing that I do, and I might even be able to do it this year, but fingers crossed.
All right. Well, horror gods, please someone bless Sean with a Halloween 3 screening right now or soon. Other traditions, other rituals, um, practices.
The last like couple of years, we've always tried to go somewhere. The last 2 years just happened to both be in Salem because I have friends that try to go every single year. So I was able to hop on a train with them, not on a little train, but they're already
I like
going.
to
So
think it's a spooky little train, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So and I know about 3 years ago we went to Sleepy Hollow, which is somewhere I would love to
Oh,
go again. That it's a little
It's
bit
a day trip. It's great.
exactly. Yeah, it's definitely closer to home. It's only like maybe like a 2 hour drive with traffic, even for us. Because
so
we live
worth
like
it.
much more like out east. But yeah, that's a cute little town too. And what is it? We did the graveyards, the cemetery tour, where if you go at night, you genuinely carry around kerosene lanterns
That's awesome.
Ooh.
as you learn about certain individuals, that are
Do
that
they
are
breathalyze you before doing that? Because
Yeah,
I cannot be trusted. If
You
you
know,
if
what's funny too is that it was a chilly night, and I absolutely had a flask of whiskey on my person to help
you
keep me.
want some too, kerosene lamp, what do you but the Sleepy Hollow has a film festival, and it's a
Yeah.
pretty decent one. There's
Yeah.
I think they did like a screen. Bill Lustig was there doing a screening of Maniac, so he's
Oh
coming back
shit.
around.
I
So
think they did it a week or two ago.
yeah, it's like a week ago.
Forgot. I meant to go, but COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll need to
Um,
do that next year because I've been meaning to go back, and I've done Salem 2 years in a row now. But I'd like to find other things. Like my mom was even telling me about oh gosh, I forgot somewhere in Georgia that is
Savannah.
yes, thank you, Savannah,
I
Georgia.
love Savannah. I would retire. I'm
But
going to retire there
nice. So my mom was
if
telling
I
me to
make it.
go around. You will.
Uh,
My mom has told me to go there around Halloween though, because she's like, first of all, it's freaking haunted, and
Yeah.
they absolutely love Halloween, and there's apparently it's a cool place to visit as well. So yeah.
Genuinely haunted. Like it is the most haunted place in the United States. It's the only city where you're walking on entirely on dead people all the time.
Oh wow.
Like whole
Oh
city's a
my god.
graveyard, and they just built on top of it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
You gotta
okay.
insane.
go.
And there are some genuine. Like I'm not a. Would you call like a true believer? Like I can be convinced. I don't have an opinion, I guess, but I definitely experienced some strange shit. I was also there with an awful ex-girlfriend, so I have a really funny, it also is tragic story from that. Well, not tragic. That sounds really dramatic. It's a funny story, but it was hell for me at the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
could have been the
I'm gonna
vibe.
go. I'm gonna throw one of Christopher's in case he's got another, pumpkin spice delight for us. That's so I don't go mucking it all up with my traditions. It's all about decorating our house, watching spooky movies, and I love to rewatch the Tales from the Crypt series. Christopher, if you watch all the Tales from the Crypts,
That's a
my
lot.
man, that is
Respect.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yes.
England
respect.
season. All right.
Yeah, yeah, even the London season, it's like
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
that would be like a half dozen episodes a day, right?
Yeah, at
because there's
least.
about
That's
there's like 4 or 5
fantastic.
discs per season. There are 4 or 5 episodes, but there's about 20 or so, 18 to 20 episodes, I think, a season.
No,
About,
it's cable. There has to be less, though, right?
but this
No.
was like early cable when like
Yeah, this was
HBO
early
had like
cable.
they were churning these out like almost like a comic series. Hold on, there's an easy way to answer this question.
Yeah.
No,
No.
like 6 seasons, I thought officially, but then
93 episodes. Okay.
How
93.
many?
Wow.
Low?
That's not 93.
Wow. All right.
Impressive, but
it's either he
yeah.
Respect.
so it's either he starts and yeah, actually, I would like to know how he does it. Because if he continues past Halloween, like I'm not mad at that.
I mean,
Or
this isn't even all of them. That's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
They'll,
lot.
they'll find a way. Yeah,
Good
Listen,
on you, Christopher. That's fantastic.
yeah,
Unless,
and
unless he starts in July and like for Summerween or October, like people
it's
do
year
that.
round.
yeah,
Let's be real. It's still going into November. I don't care
true.
if Mariah Carey thaws out. I don't give a shit.
No,
Uh,
Oh,
Jack Skellington will keep. He'll still stick around. He's still got a little life left in him.
yeah.
Lowell, do you have any traditions that you partake in?
Well, slowly, Comic Con and Brooklyn Horror Film Fest are becoming parts of it, which are good. The part of me is like, I kind of wish they were in different months just to spread
Yeah.
it out a little bit more. But I'm not looking to gift horse in the mouth. It's great. I do the 31 Days of Halloween, which I guess we were going to get to, but I don't plan it out in advance because there's so many horror movies that come out in October that I know I'm going to see. So, like, why try to prepare for it for me anyway? But of course, I wind up watching more than 31 because I'm me. Um, and I try to go to Dismember the Alamo at Alamo Draft House. It kind of sucked 2 years ago, like the first one after the pandemic, but last year it was great again. So I think it's just like it's this Saturday, but I don't know. I haven't gotten tickets yet, or
Hmm.
it's probably going to sell out, and I mean it should because it's great. But even if I can't go to that, I'd like to see a horror movie on the big screen during the month of October, no matter what. And I'd like to see, if possible, like a 35 millimeter revival print of something, like not like a new film, which is what I mean. Dismember the Alamo usually takes care of that. But yeah, just horror on the big screen, horror all around, and yeah,
I know you're talking about the one in Yonkers, right?
yeah, they
Well,
have.
there's three.
Yeah, I know there's Yonkers, Brooklyn, and Staten Island, but Yonkers is the easiest to get to for
Yeah.
me.
Yonkers, I know, is doing Wes Craven's New Nightmare this year.
Well, yeah, it's the 30th
Ooh, they
anniversary.
just put out they just
Yeah,
showed it in IMAX, I think, in LA.
Damn.
They're also showing Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth in IMAX, probably for the first and only time ever.
yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, I don't miss the cost of living, but man, um, Cleveland ain't got shit on that. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters.
There,
I got an invite to Charles Band's Halloween party, and they're showing his new movie, Death Something. You know,
I bet that's actually what it's called. If it's
yeah, it is. No, it's Death Something.
Death Something.
They're like, no,
The
I didn't
trick.
forget the title. That's actually the name.
Shot
like-
in Bulgaria.
No,
Yeah.
they said you can watch the movie in the church it was filmed, and I'm like, great, great.
Not Prince of
So
Darkness, don't at me.
yeah, exactly. If it's not Carpenter and some cyber Satan, then I don't want any part of it. Um, yeah. So I've got a few. Most of them are new though because I've been a very transient person for the past few years, having moved across the country a couple of times, and now having some roots in Ohio. So one thing to do every year with my wife is I get to pick one movie to show her that she's never seen, my choice horror movie. Um, and I don't take this opportunity to show her like something that I think is going to like she's not gonna like, like I'm not trying to pick like a Serbian film, like, haha, I got you there. We're gonna watch Come and See. You'll never like war again. So
We're gonna watch
horror.
Martyr, the religious film.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. You'll feel a little differently by the end of it. But I think there's been some real bangers in the lineup, like Halloween. She was kind of lukewarm on. Trick or Treat, loved. We did the Blair Witch Project last year, which she was like had like admired, but was like, I don't. This doesn't hold up for her. But she's like, I get why people like this. And this year I'm going to show her Deadstream, which I think she'll really like. It's
I think
such
she's gonna
like
like
a
that.
fun movie. It's so kinetic and funny and actually like kind of scary. In like the jump scare way, right? Kind of gets you good on a couple things. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I love that. I
Um,
liked it better than I thought I would.
yeah,
Oh, I really
I
like that
I've
feel like
actually been
that's
waiting
the
to.
review that movie's getting. Like the expectations were low, and they just like shot over them.
Yeah.
Well, it came out at a time when like that was like the beginning of Shudder's reemergent as like the like we're not here to fuck around anymore. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
start slanging movies like you've never seen, coming out of the pandemic strong and surviving a bunch of layoffs. So
Yeah.
yay, Shutter.
Love it.
But the other one is now that we have a house, we're homeowners. I've always wanted to decorate a house. I used to decorate our apartment, but no one comes in an apartment. And then I'm like, why am I doing this? It's just for me. And then I have to take it all down. It's like, what the fuck? So I'm doing this now. We have our house this year. It's the only one on our block that is attempted to make Halloween scary. Everyone else's are like very like bubbly, smiley ghosts. I'm like, welcome to hell, motherfuckers. Like you're gonna have to work for this candy. Um, so
That's such show you.
yeah, it's like, and I was the whole plan initially was to carve out or to clean out our garage. Well, it's nothing really in our garage, but turn our garage into a haunted house. My wife, the voice of reason, says, "Who's gonna want to walk up our fucking driveway to go to a haunted house that they don't know?" I'm like, God damn it, good idea. Let's just move the garage. So we're working it out. But that's decorating the house is certainly something I'm doing, and I'm adding to my repertoire of Halloween shit. I'm gonna start investing in the good stuff next year, not the spirit stuff.
Nice.
And then the last one is a relatively new one. Since moving to Cleveland, they have a 12-hour horror marathon here, 12 hours of terror that just happened last Saturday. Um, I talked such a big game to my friend John. We were going together. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it through these movies. After the third movie, I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. Like I am done. Like I've got to go.
Well, when
Um,
start?
it starts so they actually do a good job timing wise. It starts at 2 p.m., goes to 2 a.m.
Oh,
Okay.
So but the thing is
sorry. That
um
come out.
it was like I should have lasted longer this time, but it's been a busy month. I was fucking tired.
No.
Anyway, we got some bangers in there though. They had a theme of one, they did of first entry, second, third, fourth, fifth. There's a secret movie mixed in there somewhere. Don't know what the secret movie was, but the first movie was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 50th anniversary
Ooh.
4K
Nice.
that they had, which looked and sounded great. Justice for Franklin. I don't know why everyone hates him so much. If you were in his situation, you'd be fucking complaining too. So
True.
don't miss me with that criticism. And then the second movie was Halloween 2. Absolute banger of a sequel.
Mm.
Michael is mean as fuck. I'd say he's only meaner in Halloween Kills. So think Halloween 2 is a good one. Then the third one was Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors.
Ooh.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so the fourth I didn't stay for was going to be Land of the Dead, and then they had a part five was going to be Scream, and then part six was Jason Lives, Jason part
Ooh.
six. So,
Okay.
That's
but
a
I
That's
don't.
good.
solid. Yeah.
Yeah, very good lineup.
I feel like
Uh,
Chris.
yeah, it hits all it hits all the greats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like a horror heavyweight. So those are my three traditions. That I do. So what else we got going on here? Are there any movies you only watch during this time of the year?
Oh, I will say one other thing just to bring up real quick. On Long Island, because it's not in Long Island, where me, Sean, and Shannon are, there is the Cinema Arts Center in Huntington, which usually does a good job of showing horror movies. And it was a few years ago, they had something called Retro Picture Show. And I think they still have it in some capacity. But there was one night where it was like a night of sequels. They were doing four sequels, and they announced beforehand, and it was Halloween 2, Friday the 13th, the final chapter, Texas Chainsaw 2, and Dream Warriors. And I'm like, that's an incredible bill.
Yeah,
I
it's a
couldn't
good
name
lineup.
it, but I was like, I think it was also like Dusk Till Dawn, like it was an all nighter, which
Oh,
I don't know if I could do, but like just that the fact they put that together, that makes me happy. But
Yeah.
well, have you heard of the Exhumed like 24-hour fest that they do
I
in
have.
Philadelphia?
No, thank you, please.
You
But good
know,
for you if you go. You enjoy.
you know what though? Here's the thing. It's okay to sleep there. Like people do sleep in the theater. So like I think the approach like I do want to try it because just seeing the lineup every year, it's so eclectic. Like it's got everything from like something you would definitely expect to like weird like old foreign horror movies. Like it's such an insane lineup every year. So one of these days I'd like to brave the effort, even though I know I won't make it. But as far as movies go, are there anything you only watch during October or on Halloween?
Uh,
Hmm.
I don't want to admit it, but yes.
yeah.
There's no shame on this. There's no shame.
Yeah, why don't
on
you want to admit it?
Oh, the floor is
Because
yours.
like horror movies are year round, but like I thought about it, and like the ones that I really only watch during October would be Trick or Treat, Hocus Pocus 1 and 2, uh, Halloween 3, and I guess I do watch Halloween and some Halloween movies throughout the year, but I always watch the majority. The ones that I do go back to, I watch in October, which is, 1, 2, maybe a Rob Zombie one just to get wild. And the
like taking a shot of Jaeger in the middle of a wine tasting, like woo.
Oh,
just to remind myself that I'm alive. But
What
like,
life's all about, baby.
yeah, but but it's fun because it's like a choose your own adventure series kind of. So I always said you can watch one and you can stop, or you can watch 1 and 2 and you can stop, or you can watch 1, 2, and 4 and stop, 1, 2, H2O stop, and 1 and 2018 and stop, or 1 and the David Gordon Green trilogy and
I
stop.
didn't know there was going to be math.
I know.
My head.
All of those, if you just watch those combinations, you've got a good series, and just pretend everything else doesn't exist. That's
oh my God, I love it how it's a choose your own adventure. That's like
Yeah.
my favorite thing I've ever heard.
yeah, it's true. I didn't come up with
It's
that.
so true.
More branches than an awkward family tree on that thing.
Yeah. My mind is blown a little bit right now.
I mean, I think Christopher has an interesting take here. He says usually the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th franchises. I do throw in the Halloween franchise in there very every year, but I honestly watch as much horror as I can. So Nightmare on Elm Street is actually one that I do not watch exclusively during October, because we are blessed with the occasional Friday the 13th throughout the year, which is the best excuse to revisit those movies. Um, but yeah, that's the one that stood out to me. Shannon, is there anything you keep for this month?
So I'll admit not so much anymore. Because for the longest time because ever since I started the whole like anniversary thing, like a handful of years ago, like I tend to go back and watch whatever anniversary movie is coming up. But for the longest time, and we got a Saw film every single year
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
Halloween, and it was only, I mean, I know they've continued since then.
In the name of the Tobin, the Bell, the Jigsaw, and the Spiral.
but no, like
Yeah.
the tagline for one of them was, "If it's Halloween, it must be Saw," because it always
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
So, so at the time when
Like
they
a morning bowel movement. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
so when they originally started, they always said, I think it was, well, I don't know if they always said it, but I think at the seventh movie, they were like, this is the final
Yeah.
before they continued with Jigsaw. And Tobin Bell, by the way, he's probably one of my most favorite people I have ever met. He was the sweetest person. I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't know, I just loved him.
Sounds
Um,
good to hear.
he was such a sweet, sweet man. Literally just looked at me and my husband. He's like, what a fine looking couple. We were like, oh,
Oh, the mass murderer guy said we look cute.
that's exactly
Who
what I
wants to
thought.
play the game? Oh,
The Rube Goldberg of Massacre said we're great.
So when I thought the seventh movie, when I thought the series was done, for the seventh movie, me and my husband, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if it was a midnight show, but I want to say it was. I'm almost positive because it was just so exciting and we thought it was a momentous occasion. Oh, this is the last Saw we're ever gonna get. Little I know, but I dressed up as the doll.
Nice.
Really?
And I went to the theaters, took red eyeliner, drew the friggin' spirals on my face, and found a cute little girly suit or whatever to wear. And I'll never forget when we were getting the tickets at the box office, and the little shit behind there was just like why? Like looking at me like why? Like why? Right? It's just asshole, whoever you
She'd
are.
been like, you want to play a
I
game?
hope you killed him.
I just, you know what? Shit, I should have said you want to play a game. I did miss my opportunity, but all I had to, because I was a little taken aback. Like, first of all, it's Halloween. Why wouldn't I dress up? This is a
Watch your
momentous
tone,
occasion.
first of
It's
all.
it's the last Saw movie. Like, why? Like, there's no reason not to. So I
Yeah.
think the only thing I could think of to say back was, why not? Like, and I literally said it like such a fucking snob too. Like who the fuck are you to question me and my fashion choice tonight? And the guy was like, "Oh, yep, okay, whatever." Just gave me my tickets.
That's the last time he commented on a costume. I guarantee that. I mean,
Yeah.
for a second, I thought you were going to say you got commemorative Saw 7. This is the final chapter tattoos. And I'm like, oh man, that's kind of like getting the winner of the Super Bowl before the game happens, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
can't trust horror.
Two
yeah.
quick stories, real quick. Number one, I saw Scream 2 opening night at Roosevelt Field, and people came dressed as Ghostface. Like they were all excited. But after that opening, those hoods came right off. And speaking of regrettable pop culture tattoos, well, he doesn't regret it, but one of my friends has a hero tattoo over his heart. A hero's. You know,
Oh, oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, right?
yeah.
I asked him, I asked him not too long ago. I'm like, "Did you get that removed?" He's like, "Nope, it stays on." I'm like,
All
"Commitment.
right.
I like it."
You
All
play
right.
it where it lies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, do you save any sweet, succulent, scary morsels for this spooky time of year?
I don't have a particular movie. By the way, I want to amend Christopher's answer. He actually doesn't watch movies on Halloween. He goes down to the local animal shelter and he reads to the blind kittens. So that's what he
Ah,
does.
yes, yes, and also the deaf chinchillas.
Yeah.
They can't hear it, but
Feel.
he does an interpretive dance as well.
yeah.
I can't wait to see on Slack when Christopher listens to this and he's like, "What the fuck, guys?" So my tradition is I have to have giallo on for Halloween because
Oh,
about I don't know, Jesus, about 20 years ago, just by chance, I just happened upon Bay of Blood on Halloween, and it
hmm.
just stuck, and it just felt so good and so right. I love, I love a audio track that doesn't match up with the mouth movement. I love the colors. I love the grainy film stock. I love everything about Giallo. So
Choppy
this
editing.
year, the choppy editing, exactly. So it's got to have the worst dubbing ever. But last year was House by the Cemetery, and this year we're going old school and we're doing Blood and Black Lace.
I was just gonna ask you if you've seen Blood and Black Lace because I believe it is the most fun old
It's
dark
the
house meets
best.
Giallo movie ever.
How about like just like that kind of like go score, and then just the color scheme of that movie is insane. It's just absolutely insane. So yeah, so that's gonna be my Halloween. And my
Oh.
family is going to be saying, "When is this over? Turn it off."
Wait, why is everyone yelling at each other in Italian? Are they all angry? Are they family? Is this Olive Garden? What's happening?
Just a
What I
Sunday.
love,
That's all it
oh,
is.
so what I love about here's my impression of 70s Giallo. Ready? It's real quick. You have to be smoking, and it's that's it. That's 70s
There's a
Giallo right there.
there's a J&B bottle in your other hand. You're just like always drinking
Nowhere.
J&B. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to. I mean, I will say Giallo January is not too far away, and that is the time to thrive. So, I'm gonna bookmark that we're gonna coordinate that together. So I don't think I reserved too many movies for the season, but I do definitely watch Halloween. Some of the Halloween movies during October. Trick or Treat's another one I do not watch at any other time. Like I don't even think it's allowed to be shown. Kind of like Mariah Carey can't come out until like November 1st. Like Trick or Treat like's not allowed to be shown. Like you get arrested and probably I think it's like a fine, but on the second time you get thrown to prison. So waste of tax dollars if you ask me, but whatever. And yeah, I used, I don't really try and program anything much anymore, but what I try and do on Halloween is I always take the day off and I always just program that day. Usually something around like 8 to 12 movies that I know I'm going to watch. Some of them I'm going to dip in and out of, so I always throw some in there that I know I've seen so many times that I don't have to pay full attention because the ADHD brain can only look at some things for so long before it has to wander.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it says my reservation for the season. Now, Lowell says he does 31 days of horror. Do any of you all do 30 days of horror as well? Where you watch a movie
I
every
do,
day?
I do, but it's kind of by accident because I gotta be honest, just like Lo was saying, I just watch horror movies constantly. So it happens to incorporate these 31 days, but I got horror movies on year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. That's
It's
why
comfort food.
The way of
nothing
life.
going on November is going to be great. Tell you that much. It's just
Just watching Thanksgiving on a loop the entire month,
yeah.
and then
And Black Friday.
yeah,
We're now blessed with two great movies to celebrate the Thanksgiving season. All we need is one more, preferably one where someone has sex with a turkey. Come on, we need, right? Come on, Lloyd Kaufman, looking at you, buddy. Um, Shannon, do you do 31 days?
Not really, because like Sean said, I'm like I feel like we do it like all the time. Yeah, like I'll come home and just try to throw on something, whether it's like an upcoming anniversary that we're going to talk about, or whatever movie we're going to talk about in preparation for the podcast or this, or writing for Macabre Daily, things like that. So so it's kind of like a yes and no.
Yeah. It's
It's
kind of
kind
like
of
by accident.
Yeah,
yeah.
it just happens. Yeah.
I would say the only traditional movie that I somewhat have is I tend to watch Nightmare Before Christmas in November, because there's always like the talk of, and especially when it first came out, like there's always like that argument, like, is it a Halloween movie? Is it a Christmas movie? And I'm like, idiots, it's both.
Yeah, it's vanilla and chocolate, homies.
yeah.
So so to me, I'm like, it just makes sense to me to watch it like in between. So like
Yeah.
for like, even though it's Thanksgiving season, it's just like, okay, we can get all the horror stuff out of the way or whatever, or other fun movies, like we were talking about it just recently on Shortcuts. I mentioned an anniversary of 70 years was Ichabod and the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, which
Love
is
that
how I
movie.
first
Fucking Mr. Toad.
that's how I first got into,
Absolute liability of a friend,
oh,
that guy.
yeah, that was my
I've been
first.
on his wild ride, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Quite wild.
This is my first encounter with the Headless Horseman, so I mean, I loved it as a kid.
Oh
But
yeah.
there's other things to watch too of those types of movies. There's Frankenweenie, there's Coraline, there's Paranorman. Yeah, there's other things that
Ernest
you can
Scared
watch
Stupid.
too. But yeah, yeah. Actually, that's a great movie where they oh my God, they recycle the trolls. They're recycled clowns from Killer Clowns from Outer
Yep.
Space. Yep.
Oh,
That's great.
never knew that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they
That
just
is
paint
so
like a
cool.
flesh color over the.
Milak.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
God, what a dumb movie, but what a great movie. Like it's
yeah.
and rest in peace, Jim Varney. Like, God damn it, we lost a good one when he died.
Absolutely.
Um, Christopher does do 31 Days of Horror. I'm convinced he might not work. He might be lying about having a job because, but he says he does. He's done for his podcast in the past 31 Days of Found Footage, which bless you, my man, because I could not do that. But for some people, found footage is the catnip to their lives. So, but he does say his 31 Days of Horror is usually half favorites and half things he's never seen. So it likes to mix it up
I
a
like
little bit.
All right.
I do not do 31 Days of Horror just because I don't think I can handle it anymore. I used to love making my list. If you're familiar with the Hoopertober challenge that would happen every year on Letterboxd, there's always these kind of weird rules of like you had to pick like 31 days, but each one had like a different, you had to have a certain number of different types of movies. Like you could pick three Cronenberg movies, but like two had to be Italian movies from the 60s. So they always had these really weird lists that kind of made it really fun to make your list. And it often encouraged you to find and seek out things that you either normally wouldn't or you've been deferring, or that like just, reminders of like old movies and classics. So I used to love doing that. But that's why I invest so much of that energy now into my Halloween. And of course, watching movies throughout the month, just watching so many of them. We all know this to be true. Um, and I also like to just keep on. I don't have cable anymore, but we do like to put on Shutter or Pluto TVs, another great one, just to like have horror on when I'm doing mindless shit admin
Yeah,
work.
same.
So
Yeah, it's
um, just so it's around me, so I can feel it kind of breathing on my neck a little bit. Um, so from moist hot breath to fun size candy bars, what are your top three? Who wants to well, I'm gonna give Christopher the honors here. So he's a man after my heart to some extent. Snickers,
Let me
Twix,
get
Baby Ruth,
carrots, celery.
whatever goes to the UNICEF kids. No, he put Snickers, Twix, and Baby Ruth, and the reason why I'm standing this choice is because Baby Ruth is my top choice, and no one ever puts it in their top choice. Don't know why. Either everyone loved Caddyshack so much that it traumatized them, or people are just forgetting that a Snickers is an inferior version of what the Baby Ruth ends up becoming. So, cheers to you, Christopher.
Yes.
I'll take caramel over nougat any day.
Like
Wait a
that's
minute, I think
bullshit.
Snickers has more.
I'm calling
Um,
bullshit on that. It's Snickers is incredible.
Listen, I just dropped a grenade and threw the pin. I'm walking away.
Snickers is
It's
definitely one of the three, but
yeah, it's Snickers, one stick Kit Kat, and
Good and
little
plenty's.
tiny Reese's cups.
Okay,
And good
Reese's.
and plenty.
I
Don't
thought you
you
were saying
fucking
Reese's
put that on
Pieces. I'm
me.
like, first of all, if you're putting the pieces over the cups,
No, it's cups.
you're gonna catch hands. That's what's gonna
No,
happen. Because
it's cups all day.
Shannon, do you have or Lowell, what's your top three?
Snickers, 100 grand, and the
Ooh,
laziest, most delicious candy bar, Payday.
okay,
It, it, it
funny
is
story. I knew
it is
my
one that
friend
happened
dated
by accident. What?
it's the what?
It's the candy bar that happened by accident. Like some peanuts fell and like a caramel that, and someone was like, "I can get rich off this."
I'm gonna
And
dip my cookie in there and see what happens. My friend dated a girl in high school who used to eat a payday peanut by peanut. I watched her do it one time, and
Dang.
I was losing my mind. I'm like, just
that's a
fucking buy
cereal.
it, just fucking buy it.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's gonna
Um,
Each one of those peanuts is a wing off of a fly. He should run.
yeah, yeah, that is the he loves me not kind
Yeah.
of shit right there. Shannon,
absolutely.
what about you? What are your goated three candy bar fun sizes?
So it was hard to pick only three, but I would say Snickers has always been my favorite. I love Twix, and then kind of random, but I like I think it's Mr. Goodbar, like the crackle,
Oh yeah,
like little like
Okay.
little
bite
Rice
size.
Krispies in there.
Yeah, similar
Yeah,
like Hunch.
Yeah,
yeah. So I like those.
yeah, those are kind of nice when you get those little classy, the masterpiece chocolate in there. Like, oh, someone bought these at, World Market. All right, well,
Special dark?
And
What?
and if a
Yeah.
house has gear delis, they forgot it was Halloween. They're just like,
Yeah.
shit, what do we have? Because no one gives away the goods. If they're lint truffles, you're obviously trick-or-treating in a very rich neighborhood. Steal stuff. So
yeah,
call Shannon. She'll pick up all their good Halloween decorations
yes.
and move them.
I'll bring them.
So
I'll bring them to your haunted garage.
yeah, I'm not a thief. I'm just a mover. So uh,
It's tradition.
I
Tradition.
yeah, it's
Sorry, it's not.
tradition. If I don't relocate it's almost like rehoming animals. I have to rehome this Halloween decoration. Um, so my top three are Baby Ruth, Reese's peanut butter cups, and the Snickers. I think that those three are just the triumvirate of success when it comes to chocolate candy bar and fun size particularly because they are
Yeah.
like when you eat a full like this is the trick that Halloween plays on us. Eat a full Snickers, you'll feel bad about yourself.
Yeah,
Eat 10 fun size Snickers,
fine.
same feeling. Worse for you, but same
Yeah. Oh,
feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why like I have it out for fun sizes because they take they trick you into thinking that you're doing the right thing, but really all you're doing is you're just delaying the inevitable. Um,
Yes.
so um, that's my rant about that. All right, last question before I let you all go carve a pumpkin and I don't know, potentially masturbate to it. I think we covered that earlier. So what's your Halloween deep cut recommendation? Like something that you would normally doesn't come up in the rotation of movies that people suggest.
Oh man, this was the hardest question, by the way. This was for me. This
Right?
was
I
definitely the
mean,
hardest question. I wanted to go reflecting skin, but I'm changing my answer.
ooh.
I could tell. I could see in his eyes. He's doing it. This is happening live, folks.
It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. So yeah.
You mean Oz is just a man? What the hell?
All right, somebody go. Buy me some time. Buy me some time. I need to
I
run an
actually
audible.
Deadstream.
Damn, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's a very spooky season movie.
I so I
Like a haunted house movie, but well,
Pretty much.
it is a haunted house movie, but it feels like you're walking through a haunted house. Anyway, go on.
yeah, no, that's true. I do like that one. I don't really have an answer because I tend to seek out from my friends like what they didn't watch and what like I have a friend I'm not gonna say her name or anything, But she's the youngest one out of in our group. So they're like, I mean, and I've corrected this since then. So before you get mad, it's, within the couple of years, she mentioned that she's never saw Beetlejuice and she never saw Nightmare Before Christmas. So I immediately was like, well, I'm correcting that right now. Like,
Immediately.
Yeah, I'll be your
immediately.
sensei for this horror journey.
How
So
Yeah,
did
yeah,
what did she think of them?
it's
Later
she loved them.
Hard not to.
Loved them,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So I was very happy about that. And with Nightmare Before Christmas, because that shit is literally everywhere. Like you can buy merch in fucking 7-Eleven for God's sake, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Wawa's.
that allowed Danny
Stop
Elfman
it.
to be as weird as he is now. That the money from that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But now she's, oh, now I know who the characters are. Like I see these characters literally everywhere I go, and I had no idea what the fuck they were, and now she does. So
You're
I'm
like, welcome to the world.
well,
Is
so
everyone just drawing really bad versions of real monsters? What's going on?
All right, Matt, I got it. I'm going to let you do cleanup, but I've got
Okay.
mine. And you know what? We were talking about it with Joe Lansdale on Sunday. It's The Haunted Palace. Roger
Ooh.
Corman, Vincent Price, great garish colors, fantastic 60s sets. It's got everything. And it's got Vincent Price.
love it.
Those great picks all. These ones I went for two that are kind of like cousins of each other. One of them is called Supernatural. It's like a late 70s maybe, or maybe it's like 1980. It's like a witch slasher movie. It's wild. It's Scream Factory has a Blu-ray out on it, and similar to that, Vinegar Syndrome just put out a 4K of a movie called Witch Story, which is the Italian supposed sequel to that movie, which is pretty much the same premise. A witch gets burned in a house, and then people go stay in that house, and the witch fucks them up. But it plays out like a slasher movie more than a witch movie. So the audacity of these films is just insane because they're far more gory than you think they're going to be. They look kind of benign when you're like, this the witches. This never gets that weird. I mean, Luca Guadagnino Suspirio says, "Hold my beer," but nevertheless, Supernatural and Witch House are both kind of like I'd recommend either of them because they're both very similar. But if you tend to err more towards Italian Gonzo, go for Witch House because that is just a delight.
Oh, I got to check that out. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
It's probably on Tubi too, because I'm 99% sure half of the research that all these boutique labels do into what movies to find rights to comes from just scrolling Tubi. So the graveyard of Amazon Prime when it used to be good before they started to put ads
Yeah.
and everything. But that's neither here nor there. Well, we have come to an end of our little roundtable discussion on spooky season. I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to our guests from the Sinful Cuts podcast, Shannon and Sean, for being here, and also for Lowell for just another spooky season in the books almost.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, and also from that adorable little puppy. We just love a puppy.
Harley.
I know we love a Charlie. Yes, hi
Oh.
buddy. Oh, and I've got Lowell's
Aw.
dog. I've got Merlin on our fridge. So not even Cassie gets on the fridge. She's probably around here somewhere
Yes.
leaving his shit for me to.
Just
Oh, there he is.
wait.
There he is.
Look at
Uh,
this.
I love their faces because the eyes and it looks like you just woke them up from a nap. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Aw.
I
There
don't
it is.
do this. I just love my natural oils.
Yeah. Dad's forehead is his favorite fun size candy bar, it looks like. Well, and he's like, and I took that personally. Um,
Where am I?
He's like, why
well,
don't you keep my name out of your mouth?
yeah, keep my dad's name out your mouth. He's gonna slap me through the screen. I'm gonna get Will Smith right here on the recording. Well, from all of us at Macabre Daily, the Sinful Cuts podcast, Macabre Monthly, wishing everyone a happy spooky season, Halloween, Day of the Dead if you celebrate November 1st. And yeah, let's further encroach on the territory that is Thanksgiving. We don't need a colonizer holiday anymore. You know what we need is more Halloween. So let's find a way to take it over. We will annex that month just like Christmas has taken over pretty much the tail end of Halloween's droppings. So
Yeah.
Pretty much.
so yeah, enough with our euphemisms and gross humor. Maybe that's just me. From all of us here, just saying, be good, stay safe, and above all, watch those scary movies. Adios.
Woohoo! Happy Halloween, everybody.
Halloween.